Brian Straus, Sports Illustrated soccer writer, joining us from Brazil. He's at the stadium. What's the weather conditions like right there, Brian?
Hey, Dan, I'm dry and comfortable. The trip actually, while it looked pretty biblical, wasn't so bad. It actually took us longer to get home from the stadium last night because our driver got lost and circled our hotel for 45 minutes than it did to actually get out there today. So our SI colleague, Lee Feiner, shot some amazing video, though. You know, people knee-deep in water in the streets, total gridlock. People pushing motorcycles through standing water. It was really amazing.
Okay, how's that going to affect today's match?
I don't think it's going to affect it that much. I mean, we've heard some kind of sad stories about how, like, maybe some members of the team's family and their friends may not be able to make it out of their hotel and get to the game. So that kind of sucks for them. But we assume the field is going to be wet, but it's going to drain well. It's actually going to probably be pretty slick, which may, sometimes soccer players like that. They like when the field's a bit wet and faster. So I don't think it'll be too much of a problem.
Germany's lineup, what's that say to you?
Offensive. Schweinsteiger's back. Podolski's starting. I think they probably saw the first game and saw the way when the U.S. Faces pressure that they're going to have trouble keeping the ball and that they're going to be able to create chances. You saw against Portugal how far the Portuguese kind of sat back. For there to be any less pressure against Portugal, the entire Portuguese team would have had to stand in the goal. And so I think Germany's going to be on the front foot today, and I think they're going to force the U.S. to build out of the back and really challenge them to keep the ball, and that's going to be a challenge for this team.
Okay, but we keep hearing it's going to end up in a draw. What's that do to the anticipation of this? Let's say it ends up in a draw and everybody said it was going to be a draw. Do people then say there's, the fix was in, conspiracy theorist, an agreement?
Yeah, Klinsmann and Yogi Love can tell us till they're blue in the face that they're not talking about this, they're not playing anything, and that conversation is going to happen anyway. The thing is that right now both teams do have a bit of an incentive to win, and that is to finish first in the group and avoid what is a very good Belgian team in the round of 16. Whoever finishes second in that other group, the round of 16 matchup, it could be Algeria, it could be Russia. Both Germany and the U.S. are going to see those as much more manageable opponents. So there is going to be a bit of an incentive for at least the first hour, I think, to come out and play and try to win the game. If it's still tied with 20, 25 minutes to go, you may see some lockdown. And that's just common sense. There may not necessarily be any collusion.
I guess you're following this Ghana situation where two of the players have left the team. They wanted $3 million flown in, and this is movie stuff.
There's always one team at the World Cup that implodes and deserves deportation. It was France 4 years ago. I don't know if you saw the pictures. There were pictures of all the fleet of armored trucks rolling through Brasilia with the cash. It's like they don't even wire the money to their accounts. They literally bring bills to them. It's really amazing.
Does Ghana field their best team here against Portugal?
To be honest, I haven't seen the lineup.
Okay.
I'm so locked in on U.S. Germany and stuff like that. But Ghana has to win and has to win, by a couple goals and then hope for a result here. So, I don't know that Muntari, I don't know if he may have been suspended. I could be wrong, but they have plenty of talent without those two guys in the field, and I think they're still the favorite in that game. Portugal's just not very good right now. So I think Ghana's going to probably win that game anyway, and then the U.S. just has to do its job here and get at least a tie.
Team USA, the morale down there, fans down there, how big of a contingent did we bring down there?
It's bonkers. There's thousands, and they're everywhere. And again, we're sort of in the media bubble. We're in hotels, we're on buses, we're in media centers. As much as I would like to be out, pouring some back with the American Outlaws, I have not had the chance to do so. But the players certainly notice. I mean, and the guys who've been around a while, you talk to a guy like Timmy Howard who remembers what it was like 8 to 10 years ago. They are blown away by the reception, and I think it does motivate them. I think it makes them feel like they're playing for a country and they're not just playing for themselves. They're representing something bigger. I think when the guys talk about it, I don't think they're paying lip service to it. I think it really does make a difference. And as always with soccer, though, the issue is, what happens after the World Cup? Do these people, remain fans? Do they go support an MLS team? Do they keep watching, or do they just sort of tune out for another 4 years? That's always the big question.
I liken Jurgen Klinsmann to a little bit of Herb Brooks and a little bit of Bill Belichick. What do you think of the comparison?
we've been joking that he's a bit like Melisandre from Game of Thrones. Remember she would, put the names of the kings she wants dead into the fire, and miraculous things would happen. Clinton is charmed. He injuries to Portugal. Marco Reus out for Germany. The Ghana meltdown. He throws 20-year-old John Brooks into the game because of the injury to Matt Beasler, and Brooks scores the winner on a header. He puts DeAndre Yedlin in out of position against Portugal, and the kid creates a goal. Klinsmann just has the fairy dust, so yeah, he's a little bit of Herb Brooks. He's a little bit of fire and brimstone motivator. But there's something about this guy that just things happen when he's around, and it's some intangible quality. We're all trying to figure out what it is, but you can't deny it.
Brian, good to hear from you. I know you got a busy day. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on, Dan. Appreciate it.
That's Brian Straus, live from Brazil.